Welcome back into the Daily Dose. I'm Jeff Hansen. As always, the show's brought to you by Give'emHellBrigham.com. But today I want to talk about our friends over at Feastbox. What is Feastbox? It's a great restaurant. You can get barbecue meat from all around the world. They do Korean barbecue. They do Hawaiian barbecue. They do Texas barbecue. And they've got more countries and types of barbecue coming soon. But what they are doing for BYU, they're trying to enhance the game day experience for BYU fans across the country. At cougarfeast.com, you can schedule your Cougar Feast box. Get it ordered, and what you will get the day before the week that you schedule it, each game day, there's a new Cougar Feast box that will go out throughout the football season. What you'll get the day before the game, the Cougar Feast box will be delivered to your door. You'll get 2 proteins. You'll get 3 sides. You'll get $100 worth of BYU swag. It's a ton of food. It's enough to feed 12 people. It's delicious food. And the swag is kind of cool too. It's a really innovative and fun way to completely enhance your game day experience right there at home. And it supports BYU's NIL efforts. This is all a deal done in conjunction with Kalani and with BYU. It's been in the works for months. It's really cool. It's really exciting. And the food is delicious. CougarFeast.com. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. Today's a crazy day. Today, everything is about realignment, and it's almost hard not to talk about realignment. But do you know who enjoys all of this realignment talk? Kalani Sitake, BYU. They're just quietly going through fall camp, doing their thing, and the spotlight is so far off of them. That is a head coach's dream. They don't have to worry about any of this stuff. They can just continue to do their thing and get ready for the season. And that's exactly what they're doing, and part of their thing is on the recruiting trail. And today, BYU got really big news when 3-star defensive back Therrian Alexander committed to BYU. If you've never heard the name Therrian Alexander, you're not alone, because most people saw the offer go out back in May and assumed that BYU didn't have a chance of pulling a guy out of Georgia who had offers from Mississippi State and NC State and Ole Miss. And these aren't just offers that happened a long time ago, but he hasn't been talking to the schools. These are official offers that came out. Ole Miss gave him an official offer, did the whole thing just this week. I mean, this is a kid that is being recruited by these schools. So BYU fans, yeah, you get a pass if you looked at that and you said, yeah, BYU's probably not going to get this guy. Well, they did. Kelly Poppinga started the relationship with Therrian Alexander all the way back in May. He started talking with his family. Gennaro Guilford entered the recruiting conversation as well. And Gennaro, when he gets involved and he identifies players that are going to become his guys, there is nobody better on BYU staff than Gennaro Guilford. He handles his recruiting a little bit different. He's not out there recruiting hundreds of people. He forms relationships with guys that he identifies as, this is a guy that I want. And Therrian Alexander checked that box. The relationship that Trey has with Coach Guilford and with Coach Poppinga is so strong that he feels BYU is the place for him, even though he's never visited Provo. That's set to happen in October when BYU plays Texas Tech. I talked to Therrian about his commitment earlier this week. We've been waiting for the announcement to come, but we talked about his commitment and why BYU. And ultimately, he said it's because of the family atmosphere. Kalani Sitake is like a father of the program, and he feels that Kalani and this coaching staff is really going to take care of him when he leaves home and goes and enters the college football ranks. We've heard stuff like that from so many BYU players recently, that the Kalani Sitake culture is really infectious. It really is something that is unique. Aiden Robbins, as recently as this week, talked about how much Kalani Sitake cares about him as a person. Forget the football player. Forget what he's going to do on the field. Aiden Robbins singled out Kalani's love and care for him as a human being as one of the things that sets him apart as a football coach. That's what Therrian Alexander cited as one of the biggest reasons that he fell in love with BYU, is because he could genuinely feel the love and the care from the coaching staff as he formed these relationships. What does he bring on the football field? He is a ball hawking defensive back. He's 6 foot, almost 6'3", 6'2.5". He played at 155 pounds last year. That's small. That's skinny. That's slender. He's hoping to get to 170 pounds by the time the season starts. He's currently at about 165 pounds. So that's 10 pounds lighter than he was a year ago. He's got a big frame. I think weight will come as he matures and he develops physically. I'm not overly concerned about weight there. He's a track star. He's garnering attention from colleges on the track circuit as well, specifically in more long distance, the 200. He does a lot of relay races. His 4x200 team won the state championship in Georgia last year. I mean, the kid can fly. The kid's really fast. I think his 100 as a junior was 11.1 last year. He'll probably get that below sub 11. He'll get that to sub 11 this year. A lot of speed. His football instincts, he looks like a really, really natural free safety. He could play defensive back. He could play cornerback, excuse me. He's got the coverage skills. He's got the length that you want. He reminds me a little bit of Chris Wilcox. But when you watch his highlights at the free safety position, man, he looks like a natural back there, diagnosing what a quarterback is doing. He understands wide receiver routes really well, so he can break on the ball and anticipate things really, really well. This kid's really good. Therrian Alexander's a really, really big get for BYU. The recruiting has been slow. There's no question about it. I'm not concerned, and we did a video just last week about not being concerned about where BYU's recruiting is, but they did have to start finding some momentum. Therrian Alexander, 3-star, rated an 87 by 24/7 Sports. That's the kind of guy that starts the momentum. And it's the kind of guy that starts a pipeline out of Georgia. Kelly Poppinga believed because of the inroads that he made in Georgia, he can establish a pipeline to BYU. Therrian Alexander is evidence that maybe he really can do that. And if BYU can continue to pull players like this with offer lists like Therrian's and highly rated like this, yeah, he's not a 4-star, but this is a high 3-star guy with SEC offers. This is no scrub. Therrian Alexander can flat out ball, and it's a big addition to the BYU secondary. There's no question about it. Now, the last thing I'll say before we wrap this video up, it's different pulling kids from Georgia. Recruiting's not done for BYU. Kelly Poppinga, Gennaro Guilford, everything they've done so far, they need to continue to do in order to get Therrian Alexander signed in December. It's great that he's committed. That's a huge checkpoint. But Mississippi State, if they want him, they're not going to slow down. Ole Miss, they're not going to slow down. NC State, they're not going to slow down either. If he has a strong senior season and he pops onto the radar, there are more SEC schools who are not going to be intimidated by BYU in the slightest. So the Cougars have to continue to build and enhance the relationship they have with Therrian Alexander. Today's commitment is awesome news, but today's commitment is not the end of the story. BYU needs to continue to recruit him well in order to get him signed so that he eventually comes to Provo next year. Thank you so much for your support of the Daily Dose. And until next time, give him hell.